All right, we're doing another update on the storm and the power outage situation, which is significantly getting worse, particularly people in the middle of the island. We have some outages going on here in Old Westbury and Hicksville. This may be a substation failure, I'm not sure, but then we have another big outage here in the West Hills area as well. So you notice all the big outages in the middle of the island. The good news is they did fix the one in Oyster Bay. But again, the South Shore, look at this. Massapequa, everybody's power in these areas. Massapequa Park, Wantor, Belmore, Merrick. I mean, can it be any more obvious what's going on? We even get discrimination from PSEG. Because, again, they don't maintain the infrastructure here. They get new poles, and of course it's maintained, so of course they don't lose power. They have small area outages. Well, we have much bigger outages, and this is something we can look forward to in the hurricane season here. So we have these outages in the middle of the island and on the North Shore, while the South Shore, again, sits pretty, except for this one area in West Islip. Look at this. They're sitting pretty right now. Look at this. The whole South Shore sitting pretty. Well, the middle of the island gets to deal with all these outages. There's one in Port Jefferson too. So this is what's going on here. Again, this is the discrimination we face here, and we face it with the electric too. It's just another reason why you got to live on the South Shore. Let's look at some of the observations. We're still dealing with wind gusts here. 42 mile an hour wind gust at Beechhurst, 38 mile an hour wind gust at LaGuardia. 24, this is Coral Place, obviously, so it's not a wide open area, but look at that, 47 mile an hour wind gust at Stony Brook. So we're still dealing with these very strong winds. 35 mile an hour wind gust in East Mauritius, 28 mile an hour wind gust in West Hampton Beach, a 36 mile an hour wind gust in Baiting Hollow. So these winds are significantly worse than I expected, actually. Where we have warmer than normal oceans. So look at that 34 mile an hour wind gust at City Island. Wow, that's pretty impressive. 43 mile an hour wind gust at Point Play. We're really getting hammered in Jersey with these winds, by the way. 40 mile an hour wind gust at South Seaside Park. We got some pretty strong winds there. 25 mile an hour wind gust at Lakehurst as well. JCP&L has their issues too. They have they've got the outage number down to 3,657 now without power. And to tell you the truth, I think they're holding up pretty good in Toms River. I mean, I knock JCP&L sometimes, but I do think they have better infrastructure than PSEG Long Island in some ways. It's just, they're getting the same amount of wind we're getting, and they are faring much better than we are. Because, again, it's New Jersey where everybody counts, whereas on Long Island, it's only a certain demographic on the South Shore. All right, it looks like they did shrink this outage down now. It's affecting the Broadway Mall area. Then you have this outage over here. But it's bad infrastructure here in the middle of the island. We still have old poles in Hicksville. These poles should have been replaced by now already. How many years has it been since Sandy? I mean, it's ridiculous, but I don't want to make a rant video at the middle of the night. Let's take a look and see if this camera's back up. Yep, there it is. It's back up, and you can see it's dark. There's no lights here. So this is by the Middle Island Plaza right there. And one of my viewers said he lives in Westbury, and he just lost power. So this is another look here. Route 106, 107 in Hicksville. I mean, it's ridiculous. But when you look at the infrastructure, it's not a surprise that the power goes out, because you have poles from the 1950s here that haven't been replaced. You have this outage in West Hills. This camera, let's see, this one is down. Yeah, that one is down because there's an outage in West Hills. That might be affecting the Wool Women Mall as well. Although the malls are closed now. It just goes to show you what's going on here. And we've got a whole hurricane season to go through. And it's going to suck not having power in the middle of the island while the snobs on the South Shore get to sit safe and pretty with power. It's like you got to live on the South Shore. Although you move to the South Shore. That's basically the message that you get if you want to have a good quality of life. I'll show you what I mean by the very bad poles in Hicksville, and then I'll wrap up this video here. Let's go to Hicksville. All right, there's a substation right over here, all right? So all the feeders from the substation come out here, and one of the feeders is along Nevada Street. I have a feeling it's this one that went down. These poles are old. All right, look at this one. This one is bending. I mean, look at how old. Look at that transformer. I mean, look at this garbage. I mean, look at how old this stuff is. So it's not a surprise that you're having power outages. You know, just because it's not an area full of a certain demographic, PSEG Long Island it discriminates. I mean, look at these old poles here. So it's this feeder that went down. Probably this line here went down. Probably a tree branch went on it, or maybe one of the poles snapped because you need new poles here. These poles date back to the 1950s. They should have all been replaced by now already. This is nonsense. So, I mean, look at these wires. So it's not a surprise that this happens. It's not a surprise at all. You know, meanwhile, you go look at the South Shore, and you go to Belmore, and you look at the feeders out of their substation. And, of course, they're all new. Most of them are all new, or you could look at Massapequa or Merrick. They put new poles in. Let's see. Yep, new poles. There you go. Look at that. This is Merrick, or should I say Belmore. The feeders out of their substations. Look, new poles. See, but we don't get that just because. Just because it's so obvious where you got to live on Long Island. You got to be on the South Shore. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with all these kind of issues. Get a generator or live on the South Shore. You know, I'm tired of this nonsense. Thank God I have power, but I always got to worry about losing power. Still not done with the storm yet. The power could still go out here. I can't count on the power grid here. You know, meanwhile, look at the South Shore. No power outages. It tells you right there what's going on. But of course, a certain demographic doesn't want us to talk about it. They want to intimidate us while they sit pretty, and they don't want society to know that they're sitting pretty, living it up with power, while people in the middle of the island and on the North Shore are losing power. They don't want people to know that, of course. So, yeah, I know it's 2:30 in the morning. Too late for a rant, but this stuff kind of pisses me off.